Negative numbers, ladies and gentlemen, are a little hard to describe. One of the ways the book tries to shoot them at you or throw them at you is by giving a number line. And on a number line, we start at 0 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so on. But when we've used number lines previously, we've only really used half of the number lines because there is a mirror image of this number line on the other side of 0. Okay, it's like a little reflection here. And those are where we get to the negative numbers. And it goes in order just like it does on the other side, except it's a little bit backwards. Okay, you're counting backwards. 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, going in the opposite direction. And what one must understand, okay, by the way, all these numbers here, these numbers that I just showed you there, those are the numbers that we call integers. Integers are positive and, negative. And just keeps writing wherever it wants to. Whole numbers. Okay, so all of these are an integer. Okay, integers are not fractions, they're not decimals, they are whole numbers. I know it's hard to read because my thing is going wacko. Positive and negative whole numbers. That's what integers are. Okay, so is 17 an integer? Yes. Is 5 1/2? No. Is negative 8 an integer?
Yes.
Is negative 8.2 an integer? No. In addition to that, I suppose we should take out a blank piece of paper. One more. This will be quick just because it gives you a place to look at. Write the word opposite on it. Just so you'll know where to look for the words for when the book asks you opposite. Opposite numbers are the integers that are the same distance from 0. And it's pretty simple if you just look at it. For example, here's my 0, here's my 3, here's my negative 3. The opposite of 3 is, and again what they're saying is this, if 3 is this far from 0, if you go that same distance in the opposite direction, what number is that? Negative 3. A simpler way is just to say the opposite is, if it's positive it would be its negative, if it's negative it would be its positive. The opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. Or the opposite of negative 21 is positive 21. It almost makes too much sense. It almost goes without saying, Christine.
I don't know what
Integers that are the same distance from 0. So is this number same? Integers that are the same distance from 0. Okay. Opposite of 3 is negative 3. Perfect. Now back to our integers ones. Just want to make sure you got that there. Back to our negative numbers here. Now the thing to watch out with negative numbers is that it's a little bit deceiving when you talk about what's bigger or smaller than. For example, the number 0, if you look at a normal number line, right, and if I asked you to compare 2 to 5, you would tell me that 2 is what, greater than or less than 5? Less than 5. Any number to the right of 2 is bigger than 2. In other words, 3 is bigger than 2, 4 is bigger than 2, 5 is bigger than 2. Any number to the left of 2 is smaller than 2, right? So 0 is going to be greater than any negative number. I could have negative 5,260. 0 is way bigger than that. And that's a hard thing for somebody to think about because 0 really means you don't have anything, while negative means you actually owe somebody that. It's like if you do get it, you're going to have to give it up. Okay, so 0 is greater than any negative number. And it's almost backwards when you start thinking about comparing negative numbers. For example, what's bigger, negative 8 or negative 5? Okay, negative 5 is actually bigger than negative 8 because it's better. And I like to think in terms of money because we deal with money all the time. Okay, negative numbers is like money that you owe. And that's, if you look at our government, they put money we owe in the negative category there. Okay, is it better for you to owe $8? Is it better for you to owe 5? Well, it's better for you to only owe 5. So 5 is a better thing. It's a bigger. It's better for you. It's a bigger number for you. What about negative 63 compared to 6? What number is bigger? 6, because any positive number is always going to be bigger than any negative number, no matter how many digits it has. Negative 5 compared to negative 200. What's bigger, negative 5 or negative 200? Negative 5, because here you're going to owe somebody $200, there you're only going to owe 5, so negative 5 is the grander oast of those sort of things. With that being said, the book will also ask you this: what number is 5 less than 0? Okay, in other words, if you have 0 and you take 5 away from that, really it looks like this, 0 minus 5. Well, on the number line, you can kind of see what that works. When we subtract, we go backwards. Okay? 0 minus 5, 0 minus 1 would be negative 1. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Minus 3 is negative 3. Minus 4 is negative 4. Minus 5 is negative 5. So 0 minus 5 is negative 5. What would, I don't think they'll ask you this, but what would be 2 minus 8? Now we can do 8 minus 2, that's 6. But what is 2? If you have 2 and you try to subtract 6 from it, and again, think about it on a number line, if you start at 2 and come backwards 8 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where will you be on that number line? Okay, well here is 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. You actually end up being in the negative category, negative 6. Another way you look at it, you have $2 and you owe somebody 8. Give me your $2, you still owe them 6. I don't think they'll, well, they do ask you that. Let's do a couple more. By the way, take a look at the pattern of this. Look at 8 minus 2 is a regular 6. 2 minus 8, same digit, just its opposite. So watch how nicely this works out. If you have 15 minus 10, that is 5. But if I take 10 and subtract 15 from it, it's negative 5. Same digit, just its opposite. How about this? 600 minus 200 is 400. Well, 200 minus 600 is negative 400. So if you can get the subtraction done by flipping the numbers over, you just put a negative with it. Let me give you a harder one. What about 17 minus 35? Well, you're going to get the same digits as if you did 35 minus 17. You just know that it's going to be negative when you put your answer down. So off to the side, you might actually have to do 35 minus 17. And your answer is a negative 18. Okay. So what about 3 minus 10? 3 minus 10 would be? Caleb? Yep, a negative 7. What would be 8 minus 12. Grace?
-4.
-4. So you just have to think about, you're gonna end up subtracting in both ways, you just gotta know whether it's negative or whether it's positive. 36 minus 100. Tougher one, tougher one, tougher one. Jacob?
-64.
Negative 64. You are now well schooled in the area of positives.